Hey, legends, what an episode we have for you today. We have the heart and soul of the St Kilda Footy Club. Yes, you may remember him, Stevie Baker, the tagger. He used to pinch, he used to fight, he used to kick. He was a great man, a great fighter and a great player for the St Kilda Footy Club. A bit misunderstood for all the Tribunal appearances he had. He did actually win a Best and Fairest for St Kilda. He also came second in one or third in one in 2003. Played in 3 grand finals and played over 200 games. This guy was built on resilience. He was built on mental toughness. He was built on fitness, and he was chasing around Robert Harvey and Lenny Hayes every week at training as well. A lot of insight into what got him to the top of his game, how he stayed at the top of the game in the AFL, and also what he's doing now after footy by building a lot of resilience and doing his grit talks, which he's coming around town talking to a lot of people. This was a really cool episode. I absolutely love chatting to Stevie. He's a good mate of mine. So let's get into it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the Unlaced podcast. As I always say, if you are new here, thank you for turning up. And if you've come back, I absolutely love you guys. Big few weeks on the show. Tay Adams, that one blew up. We absolutely thank you guys for all the support across that episode. Great man doing some good things for the Sydney Swans. Sushi Mango dropped last week. They've got their new Australian tour coming out as well. So make sure you guys get along to see them. This is an episode where we've been laughing off air because we've been trying to duck each other for the last 3-4 weeks with cancellations on this episode. But this is one of my dad's favourite players. And, obviously, everyone knows I'm a Saints man deep down, but the heart and soul of the footy club, some would say, for a long period of time was Stevie Baker, mate. How are you, mate? Glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me. I finally got here, which is good. It's good.
Mate, the first thing I noticed when I saw you is how good shape you are. You're in good nick, mate.
Feeling good. I can't do much running anymore. Did the Ironman in December and put the Q in the rack, but yeah, just eating healthy now and doing a little bit of training in the gym. So yeah, looking after myself a bit better. And
you've not playing footy at all, I presume.
I had the hip replacement, so I'm struggling and. But I've taken up a bit of boxing, so I'm going to have a boxing fight coming up soon.
Are we not allowed to?
We're not allowed to.
Okay.
But fighting another old
keep your eyes peeled, everyone.
Hack. Keep an eye for that one.
Yeah. Stevie Baker's going to be throwing some haymakers. Mate, as I said, I've been excited for this because I'm a Saints man. There's quite a bit to go through with your career, but I did do this a little bit with Tay Adams. I brought up something that people don't associate with him enough. That's a hell of an achievement. And maybe they do with you, but I don't think they do. But is that you actually tied or won the St Kilda Best and Fairest in 2005.
Just say I won one.
You won. I mean, look, it was with Luke Ball.
Yeah.
But see, naturally your kind of role is people think it's sacrifice in the sense of you're giving up a bit of your own game to help the team. But I mean, you've won a Best and Fairest.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock. Like I got on the night, I just thought taggers would never win a Best and Fairest, but obviously you do your role. The coaches, you get the awards from the coaches, and I was up there, and I thought, geez. Imagine if, and I knew the later in the season I didn't play that well, but obviously did my role and took the chocolates, which was good.
That's the era you came into St Kilda was, from a draft point of view, probably once you were there, we started getting these really high draft picks, so we're always going to be good, but you came on the back of, was it a couple grand finals and you came in 99?
Yeah, we're in the grand final 97. I got drafted 99.
99.
Yeah, so we just had the loss a couple of years earlier. But the team I think the first couple of years we didn't win many games. Yeah. I remember Barry Hall kicked the winning goal in the last game of one season. We hadn't won a game all year and it felt like we won the grand final. So I went from the pits of despair to playing in a couple of grand finals and not quite getting there in the end, sadly. But
no, it still hurts, mate. Still hurts. Don't worry about that. But I want to actually go through just a little bit of that time initially because your story getting into the AFL was quite interesting. But just when you came into St Kilda, like Robert Harvey was probably one of the greatest players in the game at that point of time. Yeah. And you would have been sort of this scrawny bloke from coming in from sort of Vic country who's trying to find his way in the game. And you've got literally the height of professionalism and performance in your team. What was that like? I've never had anyone speak to me about Rob Harvey at his peak, and you were there for it.
I still remember when I got drafted, I wasn't expecting to get drafted. I had some mates at my place and I had the ponytail and the undercut and got drafted, and it was just all a big surprise. It was all a whirlwind, and I remember going down and I missed my first ever training session at St Kilda. Got caught up with Barry Hall and Austin Jones, slept in.
Good teammates.
Yeah, good teammates. The initiation for the young guy. And then missed training, so I got in trouble from the coach. He said I was nearly on the first train back to Colac. But then I remember training on the Monday and running next to Robert Harvey. And I wasn't a massive football fan, but I just remember sort of being in awe. I think I was this little shit kicker from Colac, and then all of a sudden I'm running next to a dual Brownlow medalist. It was a bit of a weird feeling.
Yeah, were those sort of initial years for you quite tough? Did you sort of have any self-doubt in regards to what you could be in the AFL? Because when you look back on your career, it's like you're a pretty well-established player and achieved quite a hell of a lot in the game.
Yeah.
But you kind of came in, you kind of give yourself this perspective like you're a bit lucky to get into the system or stay in the system in those initial years.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you?
Yeah, I think because I never really had aspirations to play AFL. It sort of just happened. Yeah, I think I wasn't getting a game in the Geelong Falcons until just before the finals, and got asked to do a tagging role in the Falcons, and then on grand final day played well with the Falcons, and the St Kilda recruiter John Beveridge saw something in me, and St Kilda needed a tagger. So it happened very fast, and then the first couple of years I was still a bit of a troublemaker, coming from Colac. I'd still go out drinking on the weekends.
Yeah.
And, got in a few tussles out on the weekends, and so I thought
on and off the field.
Yeah, off the field, man. Bit of both.
Yeah,
but I didn't think I thought I'd play the 2 years with my contract, get some bit of cash, get some cash in the pocket, have some fun, and then go back to Colac. That was what I thought was going to happen. And the second year I got a few tagging roles. I think Buddha Hocking was my first tagging role. He whacked me straight in the face as soon as I walked up to him and said, "Welcome to the AFL."
Oh, no way, just threw one.
Yeah, just threw one. But then got the tagging role, and then got established after a couple of years.
Wow. So how many coaches did you play for across your time at St Kilda? Because there was a few, particularly at the start. I mean, you had like
Timmy Watson was the first one that nearly sent me back to Colac.
Yeah.
Malcolm Blight.
That's right. Malcolm Blight was there.
Yeah, we butted heads a little bit.
So you just missed Stan Alves.
Yeah, just missed.
Yeah, right. He's a bit of a legend, I guess.
Yeah, I've met him. Great guy.
Yeah.
And then Grant Thomas took over from Blighty,
right.
and then Ross.
So, of course. So Ross was your. Yeah, that's right. And you've got a famous Ross story, you got many famous Ross stories, but one I'm definitely going to bring up. We spoke off air about this, and we were laughing because I want you to say what open on Mike Sheehan sort of assessed around you with the Tribunal. And I want to go through some of the Tribunal moments because it's not to make a joke of it and take the piss out of it, but the Tribunal.
You can make a joke.
There's some hilarious ones here. You've got a few records.
Yes.
But also, I want to get your kind of assessment on how the Tribunal is today as well. We saw Tom Liberatore's tackle. I think it was last week. He got a week for, or a lot of people might not think that's even a week, but back in your day, back in your day, that wouldn't even be looked at, for example. But what did Mike Sheed say about you?
Well, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something like, do you know you had 15 Tribunal appearances and got 15 guilties, the only player ever to do so.
Yeah,
and I was like,
lost record.
I was like, I was sort of got a bit of a proud moment, I thought, with Mike Sheehan. And I thought, hang on, I shouldn't be proud of whacking people. But
is it true you got suspended 4 times in one game?
Yes, that was Stevie Johnson. So that was
Stevie J.
We had a whack on in the grand final. The 2009, we took each other on. I think I got the better of him a little bit, and he held a grudge. I remember walking off at 3/4 time saying, "You're not going to win the Norm Smith today, mate." And he looked at me like he wanted to kill me. Like, whoosh. And then they obviously got the last laugh because they won the game. But apparently he held a grudge, and it got out in the media that I was going to get him again, and he wanted to take on me again.
Is that not a true? Are you guys not? Is he?
No, we're fine now. We've had a beer since. Well, I saw him 2 weeks ago down in Yarrawonga. We've had a catch up, but we're going to whack on. At some stage, we're going to get back in the ring and whack on.
There's that still deep-seated hate.
Yeah, but it got around in the media. I think I posted something on social media back then saying I'm going to get him again, and it got in the media, and then that was on from the first bounce. And I remember Ross said, "Do you want him again?" I said, "Yeah, I want him." And I think we'd whacked each other before the siren even went to start the game. And then four reports, and he broke his hand on my head. He reckons it wasn't on my head, but he gave me the biggest whack backhander.
Did he get weeks as well?
Yeah, he ended up getting 3. I remember saying, because he gave me the biggest elbow I've ever seen or ever got. And I was watching it yesterday on film. I thought, gee, that was a good one. But the story was because he had a broken hand, and I was attacking his hand all game because I saw him rubbing it. So the AFL actually changed the rule you're not allowed to attack injured players because of me. So that was another thing I'm pretty proud of. Got the AFL changing rules. Suck at AFL. But yeah, 3/4 time, the story was he went up to their club doctor and said, my hand's stuffed. How many weeks is it going to be? His club doctor said it's going to be 4 or 5. And Stevie just said, I'm going to go and get that little Baker prick. And then he went out and gave me the biggest elbow ever in the last quarter. 8 stitches, couldn't see out of my eye for a week. So, but we've made up since.
That's good.
Yeah, Lenny, my good mate Lenny Hayes, he was mates with him over in Sydney. So
GWS.
GWS, yeah. So, Stevie came up and surprised me when me and Lenny were having a beer one day and got me in a headlock. I'm there fired up, ready to bash someone, and it was actually Stevie J, so it was a bit of a funny one, and we got a photo.
Full circle.
We made up.
That's good. That's good to hear. Mate, do you reckon you'd have to change your game a little bit, the way the world's working now from a Tribunal point of view?
Because I think a lot of my tactic. I think I was.
Don't get me. I absolutely loved what you did. From a theatrical point of view, I can understand why the opposition fans would hate you. Yeah. But seeing a guy just literally whack someone in the ribs, stand on their toes, just to put them off their game, and that being part. I mean, that happens at the highest level. But now it seems to be catching everything with that in that regard.
Yeah, they're looking at things closely. But I think I got my tactics got dirtier as I got older, as I got more injuries, as I got slower. Yeah. Where it was just positioning, body work. I'd give a few little cheap ones in the sternum, which open hand. So I worked out I couldn't get reported for an open hand until I did. I was doing it for a while. It was just taking off balance, and I did sharpen the stops for actually more grip on the ground, but I accidentally stood on someone's foot one day and they were down going, So I was back with the file that night, getting a bit sharper and doing the old accidental ankle stomp. But
so you're teaching yourself tricks. You didn't realise were there. Accidentally.
And I got hit on the back of the
Innovation.
elbow. Yeah, exactly. I got hit on the back of the elbow one day and it just made my arm dead and I couldn't feel my arm all game. So then the next week I was just whacking my opponent in the elbow, the same spot, a couple 100 times in the game. And
this is unbelievable.
Yeah, 2 or 3 players went off with their elbow because you can't get reported for whacking someone in the back of the elbow.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd find a way now.
Well, they probably would now, but so I think the Tribunal's changed a lot, and harder to get away with.
How did you, just to cap that off, how did you deal with sort of the scrutiny around that? Because sometimes you had some big sanctions, obviously long time sort of off the field, particularly for a guy that you sort of. I kind of sense you a bit like me, when you don't have sort of that drive and purpose in your life, this stuff can fall off a bit easier. With that, how did you sort of manage that?
Yeah, I think the Tribunal, I just knew that the AFL wanted to get me out because I was stopping the best players in the game and it's not good for the AFL. So I was I think I was quoted, hope this doesn't get on the video, but I quoted in the paper, it didn't matter if I turned up in my suit and acted all great or I'd turn in there in the nude and took a crap on the bench. You get the same result. And I was in the paper saying that and the coaches and what are you saying that for? But I just thought, Well, I just thought it was the times I got suspended. I had Alessio standing on my ankle one time and I'd kicked his foot off and I got 3 weeks. Jeff Farmer, I accidental headbutt. There was no footage and I got 7 weeks. Oh. And it was no footage, 7 weeks. And even though my story was, I stopped and propped and he hit the back of my head, still got the 7 weeks. And they said it was my fault for causing it. Yeah, so it was a lot of ones where I just thought that's just not right. And I thought the Tribunal were definitely out to get players like me. If it was someone that had won a Brownlow, for instance, they would have got the leave pass.
Yeah, fair enough. Mate, coming into the AFL, we always you probably got the story about the first night out with was Aussie Jones and Barry Hall, but a welcome to AFL moment, something that particularly holy fuck, this is a seriously elite standard, or this is going to be tougher than what I thought. Yeah. Anything that still stands out from your initial sort of couple games, maybe?
Well, just the training. I think the pre-season was a bit of an eye opener. I was still a bit of a troublemaker when I got drafted. I'd love to go out and have a drink on the weekends, and didn't look after the body too well. But I think just the first training session, doing the 5 time trials and just getting to the point where you're just throwing up, and then you got to go again, and so and then getting good mates with Lenny Hayes pretty quickly and just sort of saw his professionalism. So I was like, shit, if I'm going to last in this system, when I sort of realised, shit, I could probably last more than 2 years.
Yeah,
I got to pull my head in with my professionalism, otherwise I'm out.
Yeah. So Lenny was a help for that because when you came in, I feel like you were there before Cozzy, Rewalt, Ball.
Yeah, I think they were the next year, were they?
Del Santo, Goddard, Montagna, all those guys were sort of the next few years after you. So
years.
When those draft picks were coming in, like, did you have any idea how good some of these guys were and what that potentially was going to look like for the footy club going forward?
I had no idea at the time because I wasn't a footy fan, so I didn't really know, high draft picks, what they would mean. But a couple of years in, obviously, you just see their skill. Even Lenny, I sort of met him first, and I was thinking, oh, what a nerd. I shook his hand. I knew
Lenny the nerd.
Yeah, he walked in. I was here with my little undercut and the ponytail on the first day, and Lenny came in with his entourage, his family, the manager, and I didn't even have a manager at the time. And I was chatting to another draftee, and then he walked off. I said, "What a nerd!" to this other guy. But then the first practice match, I just saw Lenny just cracking. I was like, "Geez, this guy's an animal. Like he doesn't care. He's fearless." And I sort of just had instant respect for Lenny. And then it came to the point where I was, if I was struggling in a game, I'd walk up and I'd grab his jumper because I thought he had special powers. I thought he had superpowers. So I'd hold his jumper at 3/4 time, thinking I need some power. I've only mentioned that one in my other interview, but that's how I thought Lenny was, a Superman. So I gained power from him.
Yeah, he was. He was that good. He was courageous too. Like he used to put his head and body into some situations that his skill level. Not necessarily players do that. I remember that hit he got was a Glenn Archer absolutely poleaxed
Glenn Archer. That was his first game, I think,
or something. Oh, mate.
Got up.
I felt that. I felt that watching
Archer's a bit of an animal too. Yeah. He's a big, solid boy.
Just to go into that sort of mid-2000s with Underground Thomas, because you had a couple of good years. Obviously, we'll say you won the BNF because you did, but then I think you came third in the BNF as well in 03 just before that. So you had some pretty good form tracking. Yeah. What was the sort of era under Grant Thomas like? Because that was almost like the building of this young group that was going to sort of, play in 3 grand finals as such.
Yeah, well, I think it was a time, I think a few injuries cost us late in the season a few times. We came close and it could have been, a couple of things go our way and we could have won a flag back then. Like, I know it was a building block, but we had a few things go against us a few times. I love playing under Tomo. He had the camaraderie at 100%. We'd have the barbecues after the game and catch up. We were a tight-knit bunch and we played hard for each other and we started to form that real tight bond that we still have today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What was I always wanted to know what Milne was like because is he like the way he plays is that what he's like off the field too?
Yeah, annoying, but he's the life of the change rooms. He's always doing stupid things, hiding in people's lockers, scaring people.
Really?
Practical jokes. He's always organising the days. Let's catch up. He organised a lunch a couple of weeks ago with a few of the boys, and he says a poem at prelim final every year. We catch up all the main gang. He says a poem every year.
No, he does.
He's just that guy.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's a cockhead, but we love
a good cockhead, right?
Yeah, good cockhead.
Yeah, beautiful. So going into the Ross Lyon era, because I want to spend a bit of time talking about this, because this is obviously kind of like a really big moment of everyone's career at the time, but. Just those initial views of Ross, like we're a well-known podcast for probably Ross hates us because well, no, I don't think so, but we get past players on that have played with him and they give us the goss on Ross, like the funny stories that Ross probably be like, shut up, you don't need to share, but like they've gone quite like viral, some of them, but those initial sort of years under Ross when probably you didn't know who he was as well as what we all do now. Yeah, what was he like?
He's very, what's the word, stern. Like he demands respect. I think if you sort of earn your stripes a bit, he would leave you alone a little bit. I know I got a bit of an altercation at a pub one night and I was just petrified of going back and telling Ross, I think I had a stitch in my lip or something. Oh, no. And I think I'm going to get in trouble. He goes, mate, just keep doing what you're doing on the field and sweep this under the rug kind of thing. But I think if you're a younger fellow, I think he was pretty daunting. I remember I used to hide behind poles when we had the the witches' hats in a big oval on the ground, and if we had a loss, that we'd get called into the witches' hat room, and you had to Bakes, there's a stoppage here. Where would you be? And he was asking questions, and I just remember being that scared of getting asked a question.
Wow.
I was hiding behind a pole myself, and I was like a 30-year-old grown man. I'm thinking hiding behind a freaking pole, so I didn't get asked a question. But so he's a bit not scary. I won't say scary, but he's intimidating a little bit. But that made you want to give 100%. And I think if you gave him 100%, you'd get his respect.
Yeah. This is going to be a hard question to ask, but I reckon you're at a place where we can ask it. But, like, should we have won one? Should we have won 09? Should we have won 2010? Like, is there a you comfortability with, like, you obviously lose footy matches and you played some bloody good sides, but obviously the way it's sort of happened, particularly in 2010, is so strange. Yeah. Like, I don't know if that would happen again, would it? Like, to go back a week later and play it?
No, I think it's time on now, isn't it? The grand final.
I mean, is there sort of that, like, comfortability with, because you can't change things that happen in a game, but comfortability with the fact that we lost, or do you still feel that we probably should have won one?
Yeah, I still feel we should have won one. Even 2009, I think it was a draw with only a couple of minutes to go, and a few little things, the toe poke, and I think Dawson, if you had spoiled a bit, an inch to the left, it could have spoiled it. So there's a few little things you look back on. The Milne bounce gets talked about in the draw heap, and I'd never watched any of the grand finals before, but there was 5 minutes at the end of the Collingwood draw, and I thought, shit, it was in our forward line. And Kozinski was telling me that he dropped the mark, and I couldn't really remember it. But then I saw it, and he knew he could have clunked it in the forward 50, and so I'm thinking, shit, we could have just kicked a point and we win that game, but. As you said, you can't change the past, and as my mum says, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Whenever I talk about the past, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I think it's a good way to put it. So try not to dwell on it and just try and think of the good memories and moving on. But we should have won one.
Hey, do you actually care about your health? No, I am serious. Do you actually want to optimize your life? Good. Because I'm pretty excited to share our sponsor this week. And don't worry, even if you're like me, and yes, I always spill on Uber Eats all over my chest whilst I'm lazily watching Netflix. It's a hobby of mine. They do have something to help you and I improve. I'm talking about Organic Reflection, this Australian brand making incredible health products for you, your mum, and even your pets. Whoever, they have got you guys covered. These guys tried hundreds of health and wellness products before developing their own unique C60 formula that is designed to unlock the full potential of your mind, body, and soul. Yes, so Jake, what the fuck does that mean? Well, you probably haven't heard of a C60, but it is this Nobel Prize winning molecule that helps you reduce inflammation. You know, the thing that causes most things like cancer? It strengthens your immune system, it improves your mental performance. And yes, after reading their product reviews, I just thought, is this too good to be true? Because obviously I hear this stuff all the time. Grandparents not needing a walking stick, chronic illnesses being cured. You get the gist. Anyway, I tried it and holy shit, guys, I'm not joking. When I say I could notice improvements in my energy levels and mood, I felt like I could run a marathon and do backflips. I know, I'm not even kidding. For me, there's nothing worse than feeling lethargic pre and post workouts, and it helped with my own recovery levels post physical activity. But it's not just for the gym bros. Ladies, this magic formula helps improve skin, hair, and nails so you can slay the day your own way, or whatever you girls want to get up to. Best thing is they also have a pet formula, so all your furry friends, including my dog Zyla, can enjoy the same revolutionary health benefits, as well as an anti-age tea and anti-procrastination brain nutrition supplement. Crazy, right? Well, what are you guys waiting for? Get around them. You know I don't promote too many products on here, but when I do, it's best to start your journey to a healthier and happier way with Organic Reflections. You can check out their socials or head to organicreflection.com and use the discount code UNLACED for 20% off for free shipping on your first order, because I know you guys know that I am the plug. So get on there, use the discount code UNLACED for 20% off and unlock your full potential with Organic Reflection. Hey guys, just a quick pause in this episode to compliment our partners of the show. You guys know that I've been sponsored and supported by Dabble, the gambling agency, for a while now. This place has a special place in my heart because it is like the social network of gambling. You can follow superstars of the game, copy their bets. You might not know so much about a certain sport, but you can copy someone who does and increase your chances of winning some money. Obviously, if you're not a gambler, please only bet what you can and are willing to lose. Please dabble safely, gamble responsibly. as we always say. Just so you guys know, this year I've been taking over the streaming space at Dabble every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Jake's Take is live. It is the wild, wild west of streaming. There's not too many sporting agencies or gambling agencies out there doing what we do. We put on a few bets throughout the show. We get some guests on. We have a lot of fun. It's all within the Dabble app. If you guys want to jump on board, the link is in the bio. Let's get back into the episode. Mate, just the 3 grand finals you played in, those weeks, they're not normal weeks. They're not normal games. Yeah. How did that sort of, that experience, is that something you can still vividly remember now?
Yeah, I remember the parade, and it was just like surreal feeling. I was in the back of the car with Lenny and going through, and you got thousands of people yelling at you, and it's just, I remember that whole week I couldn't eat properly, and the nerves, and even the day before the grand final I couldn't eat, and I was just forcing food into myself because I thought, geez, I've got to fuel up. And that morning it was just, I felt like a dream, like the 2009. And then 2010 it sort of felt a bit more familiar because you'd been there before, but then obviously the draw.
Yeah, fuck.
The draw happened, and for me the draw, I was suspended for 9 weeks with the Stevie J, and I came straight back in for the grand final for the draw. So it would have been a good comeback story if
imagine that.
It had worked out, and I'd broken my second toe in an off-field incident while I was suspended. So that draw, I think for me personally, I remember thinking the next week, oh geez, I looked around the training room, and Lenny had ice packs on his shoulders and Rui was icing up his knees, and I just felt like total dog shit on the Thursday after the draw, and I'm thinking, I'm hoping not everyone feels like I feel. I'm hoping in the end we find something. Hopefully Collingwood's feeling the same over the other side. But yeah, we came out the next week, and it was just looked like we're out on our legs in the first quarter. And
what did you guys do for that second week? I mean, was it like really trying to do absolutely almost nothing, or was there like a bit of actual prep to sort of change things?
A lot of recovery, a lot of review, and a lot of walkthroughs. A bit of an easier session, but just the feeling, everyone was just so spent. I think we left it all out on the park.
Yeah, I mean, even as a fan, you were exhausted watching it. So,
obviously, you look back and think, if the 5 minute each end rule would have been then, we might have had him.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we had him. So we had him on the ropes, but we just couldn't throw that knockout blow. But credit to Collingwood, they came back and give us a walloping. Yeah,
you've rubbed shoulders with some pretty impressive people, being a St Kilda legend like yourself. Like I saw you playing with Eric Banner.
Yeah,
the other week playing golf. Which how do you go golf? His swing didn't look too bad. Yours looked like it had some scrutiny around it.
I'm getting better. I had a few operations last year, but I took up golf a couple of years ago and got a few lessons. Aaron Hamill, good mate of mine, he loves his golf. He's a member down there, so he invites me down. He's good mates with Eric, so. I get asked to be the +1 a couple of times. I think just because the boys have a bit of a laugh, we have some good banter. But it's getting better, my golf game. I get the lessons off Craig Spence, ex-Colac legend.
There you go.
Won the Australian Open against Greg Norman back in the day.
Did he really? Wow, so you're getting some proper freaking.
Spence, he's giving me some good lessons.
Go,
so look out the golf world.
Oh, that's quality. Oh, we'll have to have a game one time. I'm not the best, but I do need some lessons, but I love the camaraderie aspect when you play with your mates. Oh, it's the best.
Bring it, mate.
Yeah, bring it,
mate. Me again.
Hey, I actually, speaking of a great mate of yours, and it's someone I want to go into, Warne, is it true about him getting a hole-in-one in one of the holes at Augusta?
Yes.
Because apparently the hole that he got it on as well, no one had ever done that before. Or something of that nature. Like it was the first of all time.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it was the first of all time.
Not of all time, but on that hole, like he was one of the first and only ones to get a hole in one on it.
Yeah, true story. Because I was watching the Masters and then I didn't know it at the time, but that famous hole, and Warnie's like, he was always bragging about it, and I sort of didn't really follow golf, but he loved his golf, loved his poker, and
Mate, what was how did you first meet him? Was that through a St Kilda sort of?
Yeah, he was a big St Kilda fan, and I think I did an article in the Herald Sun or something about poker. How I loved playing poker.
Way.
I went through a bit of a phase there. I just loved it. I'd get away from training, go and play some poker with the boys.
Yeah.
And then I played a good game, and he was in the rooms, and it was Bakes come around for a game of poker one time, and I think we swapped. I think we were on Twitter back in the day before the Instagram sort of took off, and had a game of poker. It would have been over 20 years ago, and sort of got really close to the last sort of 10 years.
Yeah.
So very sad.
Yeah, no, it was, mate. Well, can you give us a bit of an insight into him just as a bloke? Because we only ever hear sort of these glowing sort of messages around him, which is obviously says a lot about him, particularly since he's passed. But your experiences of why he was such a great mate for you, and I don't know if that's going to be something hard for you to speak about.
No, it's fine. It's like we became close, and then I saw his heart with all the stuff he does with the charities and the kids, and saw him break. When they were attacking his charity, I remember they had him on the project, and they gave him a hard time. I was like, stuff you guys. He was breaking down the car we were driving, and he was he was crying about it, and so I saw how much he cared about helping people, which not many people saw. Obviously, he was a bit of a larrikin, loved a joke, very competitive, never liked to lose anything. That was the thing at his poker games. We'd always try and take him out, because he'd crack the shits, and we'd sort of go and snicker in the corner and laugh. But just a caring man, loved his family, loved his kids, would do anything for his kids, and it was just a bit of a big shock, obviously, and
that was definitely a big part of the St Kilda community. Are you still around the Saints? Do you still watch them a bit? I mean, obviously,
still watch. I went down a couple of weeks ago. It was a bit weird seeing Lenny out there and got
actually, I like that.
Harvey's
I don't like seeing them in other teams' polos.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. It was a bit weird. Very weird. Very weird. But still catch up with all the boys and head down there, and it's. The club's going. They're going okay. The boys. They need to bounce back a little bit, but
we're a bit lower than I'd like us to be. But we've played some. We've been competitive.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, most of the games, like the game against Port and stuff, and who'd we lose to by a point? GWS, I think it was. Yeah. So we've been in and around it.
Yeah.
I want to go through a couple of players you played with just to get your sort of view on them, because you played with some fucking superstars and you played with some characters. And I have to start with Fraser Gehrig, the G-Train, because he was doormat. The flying doormat. Mate, he was unbelievable. I mean, did he kick 100 goals in the season?
He kicked 100 when I think it was the prelim, and they rushed the field. My old man rushed the field. That was a story where it had all the momentum, the prelim, and then they came back and beat us.
Skillful,
scary, skillful. Psycho. I saw footage of him. He's still a cult figure down there. I saw he got posted a thing on Instagram last week. He whacked people, gave 350 metres in one go, and I have got a crazy story about him, but I don't think it's good for on air.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I mean,
I'll tell you off air.
Yeah. But what was he like? How good was he, G-Train? Because I mean, to play with him, it's like you just seemed to kick it in anywhere near him, and he'd make something happen.
He was an animal. I think he could bench press like 170 something kilos for reps, and just the size of him. He'd throw his weight around, it's just. Trained hard. I think he was the quickest in the team. Not many people would know. He was a massive train.
Nimble, agile, didn't he?
So I think we had a 20-metre trial, and I think I came fourth, and I thought, who won? And I thought it would be Max Hudgton. Yeah. He was fast, but Fraser was the quickest.
Fraser Gehrig.
Quickest, biggest, and strongest in the team.
How tall was he? 6'4", 5?
4 or 5, yeah.
Wow.
Like an animal. So you imagine him at top speeds. Quickest in the team hitting you, and he had a bit of a temper if things didn't go his way. So he was a fun man to watch. I think the crowd sort of missed players like that could lose their shit at any moment and get their opponent in a headlock.
Yeah, we miss those players a bit, don't we?
Yeah, thanks.
What about Nick Rewalt? What was he like? Because he obviously was a captain for probably a big part of your time in St Kilda, but he's just like absolutely. I'd say he's loved by everyone, a bit like Lenny.
Similar to Lenny,
he is similar to Lenny, but I mean, by Saints fans, he's absolutely adored.
Yeah.
But how good was he? Because I feel like that was a number one pick that the Saints can actually hang their hat on and say we got a really good one there.
Yeah, he was the ultimate professional. He was just like the golden boy, like in. Like Gridiron, they got the quarterback that just never says anything wrong. I was like, how does he say that shit in the media and not ever get a word wrong? Like I get out there, I got a media ban my first interview.
School captain.
He's like just one of those. But I got really close with him for a couple of years, and it was the year that I won the best and fairest. We were really close. We hung out every week, and I just saw the work he put in. He went out, before a game, and he'd run a couple of Ks and do his little set routine.
He did that, didn't he?
Did a lot of manifestation. I think, what's all that stupid stuff you're doing? But that's obviously what the good players do. Looking back, I'm thinking, shit, I wish I had have taken things a little bit more seriously, looking after myself and the training and how diligent he was. And, but just a great player and courageous. Best mark I've ever seen, going back with the flight.
The one at the SCG?
Yeah, the one at the SCG against Sydney. So that's still my favourite mark. So, he's a pretty boy, but he's tough and courageous.
There we go. Who was the who can I have your top 3 players in order of maybe your best that you played with at your time in St Kilda?
Well, Lenny's up there.
Yeah.
I'd have to say Rui. And it's Harvey. I didn't really play much with Harvey, but
but I mean that counts. Yeah. But you can throw in another one.
Nah, that'll do because I just Harv's the way he trained.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah, it's a good list. I just remember Harv's training, and he would train as you play. Like when you're a young fella, you train to train. Where he would go out and he'd be just killed over at the end of training, and there'll be nothing left. I think that's what the best players in the world do. They just train like they play and go to exhaustion every time they have a crack 100%. So it was good to watch.
Yeah. What about I've actually heard you speak about this before, but I want to click into this a little bit deeper. But without telling me the toughest player you played on, because I'll get to that, but what type of players did you find the hardest to play against? Like, was it the skillful players? Was it the high volume running players? Like, what was the ones where you've got to be on your best to try and minimise their sort of impact?
Yeah, the runners I hated the runners. I wasn't a natural runner.
Right.
I remember under Grant Thomas, I got beaten once or twice, and I'd go out and he goes, you're not fit enough. So I'd go out and run. I think I was running 30 laps. If I'd get beaten, I'd run 30 laps of the oval after training. And so the running, I hated players that run. So that was the Ben Cousins. But everyone was different. So there was a lot of video footage I'd have to go through and what player does what. So Judd would go and attack the stoppage at pace, and his timing was off. So I'd be trying to do my little dirty tactics, and little gut shots while the ball's in the air, and stand on his feet and get his timing off. Where Ablett Junior would be skirting back around to get the handballs around the packs and get a lot of uncontested. So I'd push him into the contest and try and crowd him up. And so there's a few different tactics, but Cousins was just like an animal runner. I think I had the GPS one day and he ran me like 18.9 kilometres, nearly to the point of I was nearly going to faint. In the last quarter, he would just run 150 metres one end to the other. I'd be towed along like a trailer, 10 metres behind, hoping he's not going to get the ball. He doesn't get it, but then there's a turnover and he just runs back the other way. And he just did that all day. And I just think, how's this guy such an animal runner? But he was the hardest, but everyone had their different things. Stevie J was concentration because I thought you could play shit for 3 quarters and then kick 3 in a quarter. So you always had to be on your game.
He's a special player. He kind of changed the way people kicked a goal, Stevie J, wasn't it?
Yeah,
people coming on the angle and doing the check sides from like 20 metres out. And
it did.
He was quite a special talent in that regard. Who from a rivalry point of view in regards to like the best battles or the toughest opposition from a team through your St Kilda journey were the ones that stood out? Because we've obviously Collingwood and Geelong were around there for that period. But I mean, who are always the sort of teams that you?
I think they were. They're still the ones that pop into them. Obviously the grand finals, but I think they're the ones that I look back and go. And Geelong, because I'm from Colac, I sort of grew up barracking for Geelong a little bit. So when I played Geelong, I had a little bit of extra. I wanted to beat Geelong. So that was personally probably not so much a team. Yeah. But Collingwood, I think you get caught up because everyone doesn't like Collingwood if you're not a Collingwood supporter. So when you play them, you've usually got the crowd on your side. But Geelong probably my team that I sort of look back. The biggest rivalry. Yeah.
Who were your biggest influences around your footy? Where did sort of like, how did that sort of?
Probably my brother Mick first got me into footy because I was a basketballer. Yeah, I think I was playing until I was about 15. I think I played 1 year of footy in under 9s. Right. Then I didn't play again until I think under 17s, and then had a year of seniors with my brother. So my brother dragged me across. He said, "Give away basketball," because I tried out for the Vic under 16 team and didn't make it. So it took me to footy. So that was good to get him, just a training partner, and got into the Falcons, obviously. And then Stewie Lowe took me under his wing.
Buckets.
Big buckets. So when I first moved to St Kilda, he gave me a job. I was working with him, living with a little bungalow at the back of his house for a couple of years.
What? That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so he looked after me, and I know when he retired in his last game, I sent him a photo last week. I found one going through photos I was trying to find for my presentations, and found one of me crying after the game. I said, mate, I was more upset than you were playing your last game. So he was pretty special. Who else?
Yeah,
and then Lenny taking me under the wing basically for my whole career and sort of looking up to him.
Yeah, that was. I remember that Stewie Lowe's last game. I was actually at that game.
Really?
I think, didn't he give his shirt to Cozzy? Was it? Yeah, it was like something. Yeah, or like 20. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
was it Telstra, whatever it was called back then? Yeah. But yeah, everyone always talks about Stewie Lowe and how big his hands were.
They were big.
Yeah, fucking mate. That's why I used to clunk everything.
They were big. Yeah. So Stewie. Who did I say? Stewie, my brother. And Lenny, probably the three most important.
Beautiful. I would just want to go into. I mean, I shouldn't find this funny, but I mean, you have a laugh about it. I actually think this is so wrong. But with Ross Lyon essentially calling you up and saying, "Congrats, mate, on a great career," and you hadn't actually made a decision on retirement.
Yeah, well, I
is
think
that true?
No,
you put mayo on that?
I think it's a bit misunderstood because I got told mid-season 2011. Was it 2011? I got told. So Rossi called me into the office. I thought he was actually joking, saying, "Hey, we're not going to go with you next year," because I was still playing great footy. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was coming second in the best and fairest when I got told. That I was getting the arse.
Right.
So I laughed, and then Ross said, "No, we're serious. We're having a bit of a clean out." He said, "No, it was some other guy, some other footy manager. It was, not my decision, Bakes." And then we have a laugh about it over a beer now. But after that game, and I was talking to GWS at the time because I think
they were just coming in, were they?
Yeah, they were just coming in the next year. Steve Silvani said, "No, there might be a chance you can play a few games and be a backline coach if the Saints don't want you from another club." And so that sort of fell. I think that ended up falling through because they had another couple of veterans take my spot or something. But yeah, long story short, after the game, so the only thing that I'd heard is I'm getting the arse mid-season. That was the last we've spoken about it. Thanks, Bakes, but no thanks.
Shit.
And then after that game, the crowd was in the rooms and all the family and friends were there. And we'd like to announce Steve Baker, retiring from football. And I was like, hang on, what are you talking to GWS here? I was like, I might have one more go. So, and I didn't give a shit, really. I just said I'm an honest guy. So I think I did a Twitter or a tweet or whatever saying, hey, just to let the fans know that, heard that I retired. I actually got the arse from football. Got St Kilda give me my marching orders.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I'm glad you cleared that up. Yeah, so you should.
So I just was honest. And then, the media team's ringing me saying, what are you doing, saying that this? I said, well, it's just what happened.
Yeah, no shit.
So I don't want to lie.
So there is some truth to that. Like you kind of did get, you kind of got retired.
Yeah, but I don't think. Yeah,
I don't think they should publicly bloody come out and say it on your behalf, though.
I don't think it was something Ross planned. It was just. I think he got handed the microphone and was like, "Oh shit, yeah," and he wanted to actually say thanks. So I think he was
a nice guy.
Yeah, I think he was trying to be a nice guy.
Jeez,
so
what a fucking calamity of errors that is.
No malice in it, but so I laugh about it because Ross had no bad intentions and I was just being honest. So it was. No harm, no foul.
Yeah. Are you still close to the footy today? Like you're still watching a lot of footy today? How have you gone post-footy?
Yeah.
Like just with life in general. Has that been a challenge at all or has that been something you've relished?
Yeah. No, up and down. The first couple of years were hard. I played some local footy at Craigieburn. Yeah. And then the following year... that was the following year, and then lost my old man that year. Right. So I had a couple of years of sort of downward spiral and getting out of control a little bit, and the benders on the weekend. So a few dark times there, but the life after footy, and then obviously I had Warnie pass, and I had a few more dark times there. But now sort of getting back on my feet again, getting the fitness back. Starting to do some talks on building some mental toughness and resilience. I call Build Grit.
Yeah, you're doing some incredible. I'll call you a little bit crazy because you say do it. One of the things you say, doing something hard at the times when you don't want to do them.
Yeah.
And so for instance, you're on the treadmill at 10 p.m. at night, running in, screaming into his Instagram story. And you're literally living and breathing your message.
Well, I like to be when I catch myself slipping a little bit because I'm sort of. I know when I'm slipping, I'm not doing my morning routine and I haven't gone to the gym or something. And I think, and if I remember at 10 p.m. and my brain says, nah, you've had enough today, right? I said, stuff you. I'm going, I'm going to go down and
out there.
Yeah, get it back out there. It's good for your mental resilience. So I do a lot of talks on building resilience, mental toughness, because everyone's going through their own shit at the moment. Or they're going to go through shit eventually. So that's what my talks have been about, sort of building the resilience now so you can use it later.
Do you feel that like that's something you've probably, because you've gone through so much adversity in your career and life, that's something that's so easy for you to really talk about and go through because you've embodied it for 20 years?
Yeah, 100%. I think in my story that I tell, when I was born a little kid and I had asthma and eczema and I had all this and I was always the shortest in class. So I sort of say and I think in my presentation yesterday, I said, I asked Mum, was I just born a little dickhead or did I grow into the role? And Mum said, no, you were battling adversity since you were born, always the shortest kid in class. And so I think going through battling adversity makes you tougher. And I think, going through as the short kid in class, it made, when I had the growth spurt, I was, could throw myself around a bit. So, that's the sort of story I tell in my presentations, and the roller coaster and battling adversity and how to build resilience.
That's great. Or for any footy clubs, corporate working places, or what else? Who else is in?
I've been doing a lot of schools
as well. Yeah. Anyone that wants to get involved, we'll have a link in our bio.
Stephen@billgrit.com.au.
Stephen I'll have his email there. But guys, shoot him down because he's mate. You got a lot of talks coming up too. You tell me off air, like 20 or
over 20 in the next couple of months. So it's going well. It's getting a good response.
You must be getting that speech really nailed down there.
I've got a few gags in there. It's obviously a roller coaster, but it finishes on a good high. But
that's good.
Yeah, but it seems like it's helping people, and people are reaching out after and saying that it's giving them the voice to speak out if they're struggling. So that's sort of the main thing. I was the big tough guy in footy, but putting the hand up's probably the hardest thing. After Warne, I went through sort of 6 or 12 months of locking myself inside and some dark times, but put my hand up for some help, and my mate that said I'm coming for a run. I was down in the dumps.
That's gold, man.
He turned up, Matty Ferguson, big shout out, turned up on my doorstep, said, let's go for a run. I said, no, I've had the hip replacement. I had every excuse under the sun, but that one mate nudging me in the right direction, I think it just shows what you need sometimes.
I go through it too. I've gone through it more than most, where I'm like, I feel like so far away from what I've been doing or who I've been accustomed to being, like that identity crisis where, when you come out of AFL, like, who the fuck am I right now? Like, you've been 10 years wearing St Kilda colours, playing in the MCG, and all of a sudden, like, your adrenaline hits of like, who am I anymore? And then you go through some real life shit. You don't have the footy club to turn to like.
That was like a Craigie burn. I think we didn't win a game all year. It was like going from battling in a grand final in 100,000 people to Craigie burn in the pissing rain, and then it was like, oh shit, it's a bit of an eye opener. It's like, this is it now. And then that year losing the old man, that's when it sort of the spiral went down. But you've just got to.
Without going too deep, like, how do you get yourself out? How have you found yourself to get yourself out of those things? Because you've probably been in a few ruts like us all.
Yeah.
But what's been the pattern for you to actually like find a way out?
Yeah, well, the theme in my talk is grit, which is gratitude, resilience, initiative, and teamwork.
Okay.
So being grateful for what you've got, not for what you've lost.
Yeah.
And resilience, I talk about morning routine, how it's important to challenge yourself each day. Initiative, just doing something out of your comfort zone, signing up for something. If I'm feeling like shit, I'll say, okay, I'm going to book a boxing class tomorrow, or do something that, and then teamwork. So if you're struggling, always ask for help. But if you're flying, always drag people along with you. So that's the grit message, which I sort of hand out at the end of the talks, and give practices that people can actually do when they feel themselves feeling like shit. Like, I still feel like shit occasionally.
Yeah.
I go, what am I going to do? I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to show gratitude to someone.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my morning routine 100% tomorrow, and it's things you can turn to that are sort of physical things you can do that can help you mentally.
Yeah, yeah. What do you have like a specific routine you follow, or is it more you just got to have like a exercise in the morning?
I've got a morning routine now. It's make my bed.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's really important. Yeah,
I play. There's a thing. It's an army sergeant. He does a talk on making your bed and why it's important, and it gives you pride. And I thought, I'll try this. This is maybe 6 months ago. Even Mum's shocked now. I stayed at
I
mum's
notice
house.
when I walk into other people's house and their beds aren't made, I look at them like, that's a weakness.
You do?
Yeah,
well,
because I think like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing. Mind you, I'm fucking not even running and excising at the moment. So I'm
Okay, at least you're making your bed.
pot calling kettle black. But yeah, like that, I'm like, oh, you've got to make your bed,
And
don't you?
it does work. So
Yeah.
I'd recommend watching it. Just look up Navy SEALs Make Your Bed speech, and it goes through like there's different versions. The whole
Right.
speech 20 minutes, but. So yeah, start with making my bed. Then I have my lemon water with salt because someone said on Instagram that was good for
Yeah,
you.
yep.
Exercise. I'll either do sit-ups or go for a walk, and then I'm allowed to touch my phone. So I think
Right. I see. That's interesting.
yeah, I think cause I read a lot of stuff on the dopamine. If you swipe your phone, you can read some shit news in the morning. It puts you in an automatic bad
Fucking oath, mate.
mood.
Absolutely.
So if you get up, make your bed, do your stuff, then you can reward yourself with a bit of phone time. You're always feeling in a better mood after you've done your exercise.
There you go.
There you go.
That's great, man.
You've heard it first.
Yeah, there we go, Stevie Baker's very own. Hey, I've got a few fun ones here for you before we
good. Give it to them.
before we
You're getting a bit down in the doldrums.
No,
Come
mate.
on.
No, well, I did want to promote your grit talks because
thanks for the shout out,
doing
bro.
it. You're actually doing it around Australia too.
Yeah.
which is not just in
I appreciate
Victoria.
the shout out. Thank you.
No, mate, my pleasure. But yeah, I just want to go in. So, your sort of predictions for this year's AFL. Who do you think will win it? Like, I mean, there's all round 8-ish questions, so there's a bit
changed around a bit. Because
But who do you like?
I like GWS. I jumped on the bandwagon a bit last year.
Yeah, geez, they look good, don't they?
They
even
look
this-
good and fast, and it's just good. Then Collingwood, I wrote off in the first couple of weeks, but now they're coming around, which is
shit. I mean, I didn't. To be fair, the way they beat Carlton was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think they had like 11 or 12 like individual goal kickers.
yeah, and
which is
like
pretty special.
And Carlton, they're my I did a talk for Carlton at the start of the season.
Did you?
I didn't do
Really?
much promo stuff for it because then they came back from 46 points. I thought I should have got on the minute. Now they've had a couple of losses. They need another grit talk, Carlton. But Carlton. I'm hoping it's sort of Carlton Collingwood for the fan things, but GWS have I reckon they're a good side and they could. I reckon because they were hard done by last year. I think someone said they had a couple of 6-day games or something
Probably
in a row. Yeah, 2 6-day breaks in a row, and they nearly beat Collingwood. Yeah, someone said that. So
There you go. Who's a player that you enjoy watching now in the AFL?
Toby Green's he's up there. Just there,
He's
we're
got
talking.
a bit of Stevie Baker about him, Toby Green, doesn't
it's
he?
like a little kick move. He's always what do you call it? Skirting the laws, or nearly trying to break the laws, but not when the little kick thing with the mark. I thought that's genius. Like I always do the little elbow move.
Taylor Adams was on a couple of weeks ago. And he reckons he's the best one-on-one player in the comp.
Really?
Yeah, he's not the biggest, not the tallest.
Seems very smart,
But
he's
it's something
always
about
getting
him,
out the
you know?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd probably be my favourite guy to watch.
There you go. Where was your, outside of the MCG, or where was your favourite ground to play?
I didn't mind Geelong, the Cadinia Park.
Cardinia Park, really?
Yeah.
Was that because it's home?
Just because it was near home, I was always near family. I'd have a lot of mates that always play down there, and I think I had a few practice matches there, like before football. So yeah, Cadinia Park was probably my fave.
There you go. All right. And then this is a final one, and this might be interesting because I think it's already in your actual, your branding on your
It's not about
company.
money. It's not about money.
No. We have 3 traits we attest to successful people in sport and business and life, whatever, but all of them are important. But which one was your cornerstone across sort of your journey? It can be pre or post footy, but resilience, drive, or ambition. You need all 3. We sort of think, but there's always one that you kind of fall back to more.
Resilience just sticks out.
Yeah, that's in your, it's in your DNA, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ingrained in me. Resilience, battling on. I think most of my games I had a bandage on my head, and I was always playing with injuries. So resilience, I think, without that, I don't think I would have played as many games.
So how many games did you end up playing in?
203.
203. So you are
Just scraped over the line.
That is mate. You've had a great. If you're an AFL best and fairest winner, 200
Suspended
games.
at 28, so I could have nearly played 250.
Here we go. Oh, that's 15 showings at the Tribunal and 15 losses. That's why we love Stevie Baker, and he still has a laugh about it, mate. Thank you for coming on, mate. It's been a great chat.
Awesome.
For those that we spoke of earlier, get in there, get Stevie Baker to your club or to your school or to any of your work stuff. His talks have been going great. They're blowing up. He's got 20 odd already booked in. That's how much people are wanting him at the moment. So his email will be in the bio. Get around him, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming in.
You're getting a bit down in the doldrums.
No, mate. No, well, I did want to promote your grit talks because
No, thanks for the shout
you're actually
out,
doing
bro.
it. You're actually doing it around Australia too.
Yeah.
which is not
No,
just
I
in
appreciate
Victoria.
the shout out. Thank you.
No, mate, my pleasure. But yeah, I just want to go in. So, your sort of predictions for the year, this year's AFL. Who do you think will win it? Like, I mean, there's all round 8-ish questions, so there's a bit.
It's changed around a bit because
But who do you like?
I like GWS. I jumped on the bandwagon a bit last year.
Yeah, geez, they look good, don't they?
They
even
look
this-
good and fast, and it's just good. Then Collingwood, I wrote off in the first couple of weeks, but now they're coming around, which is
shit. I mean, I didn't.
bit
To be fair, the way they beat Carlton was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think they had like 11 or 12 like individual goal kickers.
yeah, and
which is
like
pretty special.
And Carlton, they're my I did a talk for Carlton at the start of the season.
Did you?
I didn't do
Really?
much promo stuff for it because then they came back from 46 points. I thought I should have got on the minute. Now they've had a couple of losses. They need another grit talk, Carlton. But yeah, Carlton. I'm hoping it's sort of Carlton Collingwood for the fan things, but GWS have I reckon they're a good side and they could. I reckon because they were hard done by last year. I think someone said they had a couple of
they lost-
6-day games or something
Probably
in a row. Yeah, 2 6-day breaks in a row, and they nearly
okay.
beat Collingwood. Yeah, someone said that. So
There you go. Who's a player that you enjoy watching now in the AFL?
Toby Green's he's up there. Just there,
He's
we're
got
talking.
a bit of Stevie Baker about him, Toby Green, doesn't
it's
he?
like a little kick move. He's always what do you call it? Skirting the laws, or nearly trying to break the laws, but not when the little kick thing with the mark. I thought that's genius. Like I always do the little elbow move.
Taylor Adams was on a couple of weeks ago. And he reckons he's the best one-on-one player in the comp.
Really?
Yeah, he's not the biggest, not the tallest.
Seems very smart,
But
he's
it's something
always
about
getting
him,
out the
you know?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'd probably be my favourite guy to watch. I
There you
reckon.
go. Where was your outside of the MCG, or where was your favourite ground to play?
I didn't mind Geelong, the Cadinia Park.
Oh, Cardinia Park, really?
Yeah.
Was that because it's home?
Just because it was near home, I was always near family. I'd have a lot of mates that always play down there, and I think I had a few practice matches there, like before football. So yeah, Cadinia Park was probably my fave.
There you go. All right, and then this is a final one, and this might be interesting because I think it's already in your actual your branding on your
It's not about
company.
money. It's not about money.
No. We have 3 traits we attest to successful people in sport and business and life, whatever, but all of them are important. But which one was your cornerstone across sort of your journey? It can be pre or post footy, but resilience, drive, or ambition. You need all 3, we sort of think, but there's always one that you kind of fall back to more.
Resilience just sticks out.
Yeah, that's in your, it's in your DNA, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ingrained in me. Resilience, battling on. I think most of my games I had a bandage on my head and I was always playing with injuries. So resilience, I think without that, I don't think I would have played as many games.
So how many games did you end up playing in?
203.
203. So you are
Just scraped over the line.
that is mate. You've had a great. If you're an AFL best and fairest winner, 200
Suspended
games.
at 28, so I could have nearly played 250.
Here we go. Oh, that's 15 shows at the Tribunal and 15 losses. That's why we love Stevie Baker, and he still has a laugh about it, mate. Thank you for coming on, mate. It's been a
Thanks
great
for having
chat.
me. Awesome.
For those that we spoke of earlier, get in there, get Stevie Baker to your club or to your school or to any of your work stuff. His talks have been going great. They're blowing up. He's got 20 odd already booked in. That's how much people are wanting him at the moment. So his email will be in the bio. Get around him, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming in.